But God told me when I was 3, he's like, you're going to have your own show when you grow up, and it'll be called The Roseanne Show.
Wait, okay.
Yeah, it's real. It really
How old
happened.
were you when this happened?
3.
I don't remember anything from when I was 3.
No, I remember every minute of that. And then I heard a noise and turned around. And there it was in the air. You are going to be okay. You're going to live.
Have you heard about my sock obsession?
No, but I have a sock obsession.
You do? Where are they? Why aren't you wearing any?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, every podcast, like I bring socks for people because I feel like everybody relaxes a little bit more chill if with like socks on. Fuzzy socks.
You're a weird girl.
I am weird.
Let me see. Are you bringing me a pair then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll put them on.
But I thought they're cute. There's like pink toes.
Love pink.
Okay, I got you. Can I do this? Ooh,
Are you putting them on me? I just washed my feet. Thank God.
I trust you. What's the tattoo on your left foot?
It's a rose. I got quite a few roses on my body and tattoos.
May I ask where else?
Well, I got one here.
On your thigh.
And I got them on my back. And I got them on my butt.
I was waiting for one of those. Your butt, your boob, something.
Yeah, I got it on my boob too.
A rose?
Yeah.
So you have so many that you forgot.
Yeah, I forget. It was so long ago.
Do you know that I got my first tattoo when I was visiting Bastrop, Texas?
Oh.
Zach Levi lives out there. And
Is he a good one? Tattoo artist?
Oh, it's not him. It was someone on his staff.
Oh.
And it was like my midlife crisis 50th birthday gift to myself. A tattoo. I'll show you. Look, it's a little dandelion. See it?
That's cute.
And then the little wispies when you did that as a little girl and they fly away. I know.
Made a wish.
And yeah, exactly. And it was so funny because my kids freaked out, of course, because I'm like, no tattoos. My oldest didn't listen and has like 9, whatever. She's still grounded. It's been 2 years. She's still grounded and it doesn't really work. But I actually had a bathing suit on around my dad on purpose. I'm 50 years old, remind you, and I walk by my dad and he saw it and his jaw tightened. Like he didn't know what to do. He thought I was still 16 and he's like, young lady. I'm like, Dad.
I'm 50.
I'm 50. And this is the first time I've really rebelled. It's not that bad. I need to have you call my dad.
Okay. It's cute.
It is, right? And it's hidden.
Yeah, it's not out in there, and it has no red in it, which is good because you know that it's bad for your liver, I found out.
You mean if they use red-colored ink?
Yeah, it's poison.
Oh, so all your roses?
I never got them refilled. Well, I did once, and then I got these big, like, lip-like red lumps all over my legs, and I had to go in and get all these tests and all these shots because the red dye.
Oh.
It fucks up your liver.
Wait, so is it this it might be a stupid question. Is this the same red dye like that they talk about in the foods that were banned out of makeup in 1990 but just recently with RFK?
Yeah, they still put it in the tattoo ink.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah, they say, are we filming?
We are.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they say don't get any black or blue or red dye. If you're going to get your tattoos, don't do that unless you're young. If you're older, don't get those colors because it hurts your liver.
Well, what's the main color? Isn't it black?
Well, that's the outline one,
Yeah.
But you know what I saw that changed my whole opinion of tattoos? I already had them, but then me and this girl that does absolutely fabulous, Jennifer Saunders, we went out to dinner and we're drinking with Dolly Parton. This was like 15 years ago or something. I don't remember time. But it was way back in the way back. We was drinking and eating. We loved Dolly, And it's when I bought that show, Ab Fab. And so, we thought Dolly would be great in that show. And so we were wining and dining her. And she is so fun. And she said, I was showing her my tattoos, talking about tattoos or something. And she goes, well, my whole body is tattooed. We're like, huh? We didn't know you have tattoos. She goes, yeah, no black ink.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, how does that work?
So she knew.
Yeah, she knew. So she said, I'm going to show you girls when we go outside. We're like, "Yeah, fuck this, it's pretty awesome." So we go out and she pulls up her stuff and down, and in the parking lot there were all three shit-faced. And she's got all these tattoos, and they're all of ribbons and bows, but they have a pink and a green line, very, very fine pastel lines, but they're all over the place. She says, that's for my lover, my husband, so he'll feel like he's opening a present.
Oh my goodness.
And they're everywhere.
Okay,
and
so
they're
he's
gorgeous.
opening a lot of gifts.
Yeah, he's unwrapping his treasure, Hope she doesn't fart. That would be awful. All that thing going in it. I would do that. I would fart.
Well, okay, I'll be honest. I could picture you doing that before Dolly.
Yeah, farting?
Farting.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. She's a lady.
I mean, but you're a lady in many ways, don't you think?
Well, yeah, unless I'm with my family, then, the kids love farting, the grandkids.
Oh, yeah. And I want to point out, first of all, we're in Roseanne's lovely home, and I can't believe it. I can't believe you allowed me in here. Thank you.
Of course I'd allow you in here. You're a lovely woman.
But no, it means a lot. This is your personal space, and you made sure that it was going to be hard for people to find you because you are way out, and it's beautiful. And your grandkids are running around here.
Yeah, I live with my son and his wife and their two children.
They're beautiful little girls. That keeps you young, right?
It definitely does. They're so fun, and the little one's just learning to walk and scream. She's just learned to scream. It's so funny.
Isn't it? It's cute when they're little, and at some point it's not. Like on the plane the other day, I mean, I did it. I flew with my 3 little babies, and now I'm that person where I want to evil eye you. I'm like, did you give him Benadryl before you got on the plane? Why not?
Yeah.
Like, is that evil?
All the nannies used to give them Benadryl before they flew. I remember I had an English nanny when my baby son, who's 29, and she was giving him Benadryl when we flew because we had to go to England. And I was like, you're giving my kid Benadryl? I thought, I was shocked. But she goes, yeah, I did that for all the children. I can't do an English accent, but I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do. Sherry gave it, and he slept all the way to England.
Yep.
But, I think that's a terrible idea if they're little.
Oh, no, not if they're babies.
Yeah. I mean, if they're big, you should drug them all the time.
100%.
If they're over 13, they should be drugged every day.
Well, this was a 6-year-old, and I feel like it's okay to drug the 6-year-old on a plane.
Yeah.
13 for sure. And you had a lot of those. Real quick, see, this is the cool part. I see a pink little kitchenette over there in the kitchen.
They've got to have everything. And there's the H-E-B store in there.
Of what?
The grocery store they've got, because our one here is called H-E-B. And so I'm like, you got to go to work. You're going to get fired. You're late today. You're supposed to be at H-E-B at 10 a.m. And so they go in there and
put her to work early. But like out back, it's the swing set, trampoline. How many acres do you have here? They can just...
We have 30.
Wow. So like the deer...
I always like land because I like to plant and grow stuff. Like to grow food, for salads and stuff. And I like roses and some flowers. I like to do that gardening stuff.
Where's your roses? I didn't see them.
We just put them in.
Okay.
We've been here 3 years, but, we travel so much. So it's been hard to put the garden in.
Oh, yeah, for sure. No, I was just blown away by it's huge. And it just keeps going back. And we're sitting outside the deer. Can we see up here, David? Do we see up on
him.
Wait, you killed him?
I shot him. Yeah, we ate him.
You killed him on the property?
No, I went to a safari that my daughter-in-law's dad runs a big farm. It's like Africa there. They got all these African animals. And they also have a hunting thing for hunters.
Where is it?
Oh, I don't know.
In
somewhere.
Texas?
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah.
It's like 2 hours from here.
What'd you kill him with, or her?
I killed him with a great big old rifle, and I got him right in the neck with one shot at 300 yards.
No way.
Yeah, way. I'm a hell of a shot.
Have you always been? Is this a new thing?
because I always had farms, and I'm a Utah girl too, so we always had guns and shot stuff. And but that's the first animal I killed.
I have to admit that I was against it until I tried it. And it is venison in general,
Yeah.
elk, antelope. It is so good, and it's healthier. It's organic,
Yeah.
right off the property.
Well, we made buck sticks out of him. They're called the sausages. We had our whole freezer, 2 freezers full of it, and we ate it all. We ate all of it. I can't believe it, so I got to go get me another one.
Oh, heck yeah.
These sausage sticks, they were out of this world. They were so
I just
good.
wish that maybe Jake has it, a picture or video of you with this big old rifle on your
he
shoulder.
does. He's got it.
Okay, I need to see this. I totally believe you. I'm just saying I think that'd be an incredible photo. And then you knew you got him right away. Did you see him drop?
I did, because he fell.
Yeah.
And then, Hannah's dad, Eddie, he's an expert at all that stuff. I mean, he put the gun in the thing on the stand for me.
That's
so
okay.
I didn't really have to. I just looked through it and pulled the trigger.
Now, you still had to adjust the aim. And,
Yeah,
and
I
it's,
did.
Yes. I have been told that women are usually better shots than men.
Really?
Because we take directions better, and men are like, I got this. Let me show you how to do it. Trying to be hot shots. But we are better in general at that.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm a hell of a shot. I used to practice shooting when I lived up by the Continental Divide in Colorado. We had a ghost town next to our town. I like small towns, Mm-hmm. And we had a ghost town up there. We all used to take our guns and rifles and just blow the hell out of what was left of this ghost town, and it was so fun.
It is
Guns
fun.
are a blast.
I know. It is so much fun. And I obviously all about making sure that doesn't change in our Constitution. But honestly, people don't realize the fun part of it, the sport part of it. They don't appreciate that part of it. So when people say, I want to take away all guns, I'm like, absolutely not.
Try it.
Exactly. Try taking it from Roseanne Barr.
Yeah.
When did you move from California?
3 years ago.
That's okay. So you came directly here from California.
Well, from Hawaii.
Oh, that's
So
right.
I got
that's
a
right.
Hawaiian farm too.
Is that the macadamia?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then I have a place in LA, and then this.
Okay. Why here? Why so remote?
Well, I came to LA to work on the show that, was the fiasco that happened to me. And sitting there in LA, which is kind of why I tweeted what I tweeted, because I saw, damn, this is about to blow sky high here. And then I was like, I got to go to Texas because all the Hollywood folks are moving down there, and they're going to try to turn it blue. Mm-hmm. I'm going and fighting. They're not going to turn Texas blue. So that's why I came down here. And I hooked myself up with all the government folk I could find. And, sometimes when you're famous, they want to talk to you. So I got all their numbers, and of course, they're probably sorry they gave me their numbers, because I'm like, hey, are you aware that, because I just research all the time, Are you aware this is happening and they're doing this in Texas? And I get people going, and then I get people in government going too. And I've seen, been a part of stopping quite a number of horrific blue state plots that they brought here to the most American place in America.
Yeah. Of all states.
Yeah,
For sure.
Well, they want to turn it blue or purple. Mm-hmm. But and they settled a lot of people, and a lot of people went to Austin, which is about an hour from here. And if you go to Austin, it looks like any other blue city in America. It's horrible and full of crime and drugs and misery. In fact, when I pulled up to Austin to work at the comedy clubs down there, I told my son, oh, look, this is a blue city for sure, because there was homeless black people under the bridge just as you go into Austin. And that, to me, is just what the Democrats do. Their betrayal of the African-American population, just write them off. they're living in under the bridge, and they all congratulate themselves for how non-racist they are. It's disgusting. So I'm like, I'm fighting that. I'm not going to sit and be quiet. Now I'm in my old age, and I'm going to fight even harder than I ever have, because who knows how long I got left. So F them. F Democrats, F liberal racists. I'm done with them. They're not going to try any shit around me without me, shall I say, being a hammer, you know?
If you're feeling like your energy is gone, your progress has stalled, or your body just is not responding the way it used to, you are not alone. For a lot of us, it's not about trying harder, it's about finally getting the right support. And that's where LifeRx.md comes in. LifeRx is one of the largest custom telehealth clinics in the country, specializing in peptide therapy designed to help you reach your goals, whether that's weight loss, muscle growth, longevity, or maybe just feeling good again. They offer a wide range of peptides, including NAD+, Samorelin, and Lipomino, just to name a few. You get a physician-guided plan tailored to you, working with doctors who actually align with your values and your goals. No insurance, no subscriptions, no wait lists, just affordable care, medication shipped to your door, and 24/7 support to keep you on track. So click the link in the show notes and use Steele at checkout for $50 off your first month. That's liferx.md. Just hit the link and enter STEELE, my last name, Steele. Do you realize how many people are grateful for that decision that you've made?
Well,
to
I
not
know
stay
a lot.
quiet?
I know a lot of people here are, because I'm like, let's make it fun. Let's make it fun. There's nothing more fun than to fight for the right thing. Really, once you start doing it, it's a blast. And then you meet other people like you that maybe they stayed home because they didn't know who else was involved. So I like giving the soirees where everybody can meet and get a little bit loose and really talk about what's happening in our country and how we need to all get together and talk and break through these boundaries they've put up so that we don't talk to each other. They got us all in little, I say, veal pens. We're all being farmed as veal, and they have us with every kind of division they can come up with, like they did when they destroyed Thailand and those other places over in Southeast Asia. Till, Pol Pot was killing people that wore glasses and red ties. They just destroy, kill, imprison, silence, ruin. That's what they love. And that ain't America.
It's not. It's not. We stayed downtown Austin and made the drive out here. And of course, it's like, okay, it's a nice day. Let's go out for a walk along the river and downtown. And I don't love it. I did feel dirty. I was constantly looking over my shoulder. And I think I'm having trouble accepting it because it's Texas. And everyone knows this is really the only blue part of Texas is that Austin and Austin city limits. But I didn't feel any different, unfortunately, here than I do when I'm in Los Angeles. Obviously, it's bigger. New York, Chicago, Atlanta. So they've been successful here in this part of Texas.
Yep.
Why do you have confidence that it's not going to spread? Because it almost has spread like a virus throughout these big cities. Yeah,
well, they're all moving here to get away from what they're trying to bring
what they
here.
created.
Yeah. Well, they just have a brain disease. It's like Night of the Living Dead, and they can't help themselves because of the horribly malfunctive way they think, and they bring it with them everywhere because they hate fact. They are in a whole different reality as the rest of us who are not afraid of fact.
Well, yeah, truth. They are actually truth deniers, not truth tellers. But I think I've constantly asked myself, why? Like, why are they these are smart people. many of them, who are choosing.
Well, they're twisted. They're smart for some things, but being able to put a large picture together with a long-range vision, they ain't got none of it.
But I think it's more unwillingness versus inability.
It is.
You know? So that's where I go back to that. Why? Why, when they see the destruction with their own eyes,
Yeah.
why continue it when you know that allowing tens of millions of illegals is detrimental to our country, the country that made them multi-millionaires quite
because
often? Why allow
they say it themselves. It's been leaking out. You know, they always tell the truth when the rubber meets the road, but they pretend it's something else when they are courting American opinion. But when they don't win it, they don't win American favor or court American opinion, because the cracks, the reality of what they do shows through. So then they just amp it up, and then it comes with, oh, well, Trump did that. It's never them. They never blame themselves because they hate self-reflection and they hate accountability. And as long as they can blame it on someone else, even though everyone proves it's them, they just go, oh, well, you're projecting, when that's all they do all the time.
All the time.
But they don't have any, like, I think it's like a disease of vampirism, because, you know, when the vampires look in the mirror, they don't see a reflection. And I think they don't either, because they live in a fantasy bubble with no reality whatsoever to it. Because they're privileged and they're used to not being confronted on any level. And nobody confronts them because, I mean, with the truth, because they go, where's that source? You know, they have every mechanism in their mind of denial to push truth away. And also to, you know, put a big scarlet letter on everybody's head who thinks and relies on fact and data and truth. Of course, I don't even say truth anymore because they made that word mean nothing. You can't even use it anymore.
Well, when you have the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world and Jeff Bezos, before everybody had a sudden kumbaya and then ended up at the inauguration on January 20th and everybody loving Donald Trump. I mean, we know how that happened, I think, kind of overnight. But
How do you think that happened?
Well, when Donald Trump and Elon Musk, I guess, from a more indirect route, comes at you and threatens you, that's what I think happened, threatens you behind closed doors, you're all of a sudden, you know, going to clean things up a little bit. And when Mark Zuckerberg that day, remember the random press conference, and he acknowledged that he had been holding back information and basically, I mean, canceling people, putting out things that weren't factually correct, completely overtaking, shutting down people's accounts based on what he wanted others to believe, he and his team, censoring everything and everyone, admitting that it affected the 2020 election. When he came out, it was like, oh, yay, he's coming. I'm like, hell no. I mean, good.
Yeah.
But don't ever expect us to trust you again.
Yeah, for
Point
sure.
being, when all of those people had been allowed to do that and enabled to do that for all of those years, of course it's going to affect society and affect Hollywood. I mean, they're all in the same pot together.
And affect the generations of children,
Correct.
what you see in the streets now, who are like, we can do whatever we want. There's going to be no consequence because, you know, we're liberals, we're leftists, we're Democrats, we are anti-fascist fascists. And, you know, we can play a lot of these games in our heads to destroy people who don't see things the way we think they should and don't agree with us. And I think Trump's been doing this for a long time is go, we've got you.
Yeah.
And now you can do what we tell you to do or just
else.
go to jail.
Yes. And
I think he did that.
Wouldn't you have died, given anything, to be a fly on the wall for those conversations with Zuckerberg? especially over the last couple of years leading up to this. The second he lost, quote unquote, lost, that's how I say it, in 2020, he was planning. And certainly planning for what he was going to do once he won the 2024 election, but also saying, okay, we're going to go to this person because we have this information, and put it right out there, like you said. It's been beautiful to watch, but I would have loved to see them squirming in their seats. And then obviously agreeing, and then we see the result where they say, so sorry, I should have been better. But here I am. Trust me now.
I still hope he'll send them all to Guantanamo, because that's treason, and you just don't go, I'm sorry for treason.
You don't get away, right.
And I hope by the end of this term, there'll be some accountability for people who sold our country down the river and every working person in it.
But where does that list end?
I don't think it ends. I mean, I have different opinions than other people. Like, I think when he lost the 2020 election, I know the military knew he didn't lose. And so I think he kept, I mean, this is what it says all over military sites, that he kept control of Cheyenne Mountain
Colorado.
and commander-in-chief things, because they weren't about to let Obama or Biden get that. So he just, capitulated to the things that Biden would do, so he'd have the record of every crime Biden did. And
pretty brilliant.
He stood back. Yeah, I think it was brilliant. I think that's why it says 45 through 47, because he was always doing that and gathering information about the theft of the election, all the other dirty stuff they've done. And I just want to see it pay off for the American people, who are the ones who suffer. The working people of this country are the ones who suffered in every way to make sure Trump won and to protect him. And so we want to see arrests.
So I think I'm with you. And then if we say that, there's the other side, even if they're on our side, who might say, to what end? Why? Let bygones be bygones. Onward, we're in. We're continuing to win so many big and small battles. Why do we need to go back and make it revisionist history?
Because the people need justice for sending their kids to war to fight and die for this country, when it was not a just war. And then I said, when I ran for president too in 2012, the first persons to lose their house in the bubble burst of 2008, remember when Obama ran back to give all our money to banks, right after he was elected, which he was selected to do. And it was such a great mind control trick that they did that to us. But the first people who lost their homes in the bubble burst were single mothers, largely single mothers of color, working class, who had sent their children to fight and die. And those single mothers are the ones who lost their houses first. So there's got to be justice. There has to be justice, or there's no country, or there's no right or wrong. There's no really belief in God either, because God wants justice for the wrong done to our children and to our working people who make everything go. And they were just looked at as deplorables, which is so Marie Antoinette. It makes me want to barf. And they're still walking around, the same people who spied on Trump, broke all the laws to get the FISAs, created all the fake Russia. They're still walking around.
I know.
And we, who did all the research to bring that, all of the people who did the research to bring that to the internet so that people could go, my God, we're living in fiefdom. We have to have justice because our country was, we fought long and hard in this country to bring justice here for minority people, for women, for Native Americans. We're never going to stop because this is the country that allows for the progression of justice, and that's our constitutional right. And when in the course of human events it becomes unbearable to live under a 2 or 3 tiered system of elitism, we got to overthrow it. We got to throw it off and create something else that works for all the people, not just a few, at the expense of the many. And we might have been brainwashed into thinking that's reality, but it actually isn't reality because this government belongs to us.
I do believe people forget that, especially because I don't know that it's really taught like that in schools, in the public education system, which is why Linda McMahon has come in and is trying to abolish all of it, obsessed with her.
All it is, all the education is a union that wants to keep pedophiles, perverts, and crazy people employed. It has nothing to do with the children. Like, in blue cities, of course, another horrible thing of it is that these kids in big blue cities like New York City and Los Angeles, these children of color are graduating and unable to read. And so they want to say, oh, that's because of their home life or their circumstance or their, economic circumstance. But it's not. It's because the teachers are shit and they don't know how. And they don't care about anything but telling the kids about their wieners. It's time for that to end. It's an elitist.
And critical race theory.
Oh, yeah.
Those are the two things.
I always hated that one because it's nothing but anti-Semitism. But... and communism. But it's time for the children of America to be first. That's why, Trump said the money should follow the kids. It shouldn't go to the grifters. It's so wrong. That's why I loved Musk being part of it.
I know.
Before he had his nervous breakdown.
What was that?
He mixed his medicines.
Stop. It seems like it happened overnight.
He mixed his meds. Did you see Trump released his medical history?
No, I didn't even see that.
He released the list of medications that Musk takes.
That is so savage.
And then he forgave him. But see, that's the thing about truth. The media would censor the truth and parade it around in a new dress so it doesn't look anything like the truth. But these people who don't know the truth, they have to be confronted. And we're all afraid to confront them because they'll go nuts and stab you or whatever they do. But they have to hear the truth. Even though they hate it, even though they become violent, even though they become physically and verbally abusive and call you all sorts of names, they still have to hear the truth because we can't allow a large percentage of our citizens to live in a liar's world because that affects us.
It does.
Your kids go out and play with a family that believes in lies. It comes back on your kids.
Absolutely.
And we're responsible for all the kids in our community.
And what I've noticed, and my kids are now college age and beyond now, but they tend to believe what other people say more than mom or dad, whatever the situation, quite often. And then eventually they come around, but is it too late? And in many cases, yes, because if they've been indoctrinated by the people they look up to, which they might look up to us a little bit, but we're the annoying parent because we're giving them a curfew, telling them to clean their room, all those things. Yep. If a teacher that they really like says something about it, about anything, they tend to believe that because they're almost like doctors. They've been put up on a pedestal as trustworthy figures. So there is so much damage being done in the education system. And I mean, back in the day, I looked at those teachers, looked up to them as well, even in high school and college. So they have power and they know that and they've abused it. And then there's no accountability. And then there's tenure, which I can't even stand that whole, what that whole thing stands for. I need to ask you this before I forget. You mentioned the word justice. 3 things I would love justice for, and they're more recent. the heartbreaking withdrawal from Afghanistan.
Oh my God.
No justice has been served
No.
there.
No justice.
Justice for Anthony Fauci.
You know, some of those weapons were used in the October 7th slaughter of Jews.
Yep.
I think they did that on purpose too.
But again, that information about those weapons, that's come out. That's been out there. And then it just goes away. We still have such a problem with the press, which, you know, it's getting better, relatively speaking, but there's still such an issue. I want justice for that, for these poor families. I want justice for Anthony Fauci. I think he is
Hells yeah.
an evil, evil human being.
He's
not a
pure
man.
evil.
Pure evil. And what he alone, and others certainly, did to this entire world on so many different levels is absolutely unforgivable. I want justice for him. I want him hanging from his toenails at Guantanamo Bay.
Yeah.
That'd be a great sight, wouldn't it? We speak of wanting to see a picture or something. I would love to see that. Does that make me dark and sick too? Probably. And
No,
it's okay.
It makes you. It makes you a lover of justice.
That's what it is.
It is.
And when I see people who are wronged, because it affected all of us, but it affected many other people much worse than me and my kids. I mean,
it
it's
killed
so.
my baby sister.
What did?
The shot, the vaccine.
It did?
Yeah. So I really want Fauci. And you know, he abused African American orphans and puppies. And the guy made millions on people dying, like
Absolutely.
Cuomo did too. You know, it's the hugest transfer of wealth from the bottom up to the top, that whole COVID scam, which I think is probably why, you know, they got rid of me for a lot of reasons. And one of them being, I would have done a show about don't get the vaccine. So they couldn't have me.
No, there's
I would
no
have
way.
said, hey, they're stealing the election. They couldn't have me because I always talked about reality on my show, and they always had a problem with that. ABC.
Even back in the early days of your show?
Oh, yeah.
Even
Every
back in the
day was a
90s?
fight. Oh, yeah. Every day was a fight.
Okay, that's a whole other topic. I need to get there. But I want to ask you about your sister.
Yeah.
How, from the shot, how
Yeah.
did COVID, or how do you think Anthony Fauci, through his policies,
She
took her
said
life?
that she felt that her entire body was on fire, and she couldn't find a way to stop it. And she couldn't eat. She just felt she was burning to death. And she died weighing 79 pounds.
These symptoms started shortly after she got the shot?
Yes. And she got a booster too. I begged my family not to get it. I knew what it was, and I'm the only one that didn't get it because they're all Democrats and gay. You know, I'm like, my brother and sister are both gay, the living brother and sister, and I'm like, what is it? What is it? Is there, for my family, it's like, is there no memory bank in there about a government forcing you to take a gas or a shot? There's no memory of our collective history there, but because it was a Democrat, they did it. And they're all ill. My mother, my brother, my sister are all ill. I'm the only one in my family who's not ill. I'm the oldest, too. So, you know, I dodged a bullet, and my son and his family didn't get him, but my two daughters did because they're Democrats. And one daughter didn't, and my two sons didn't. But it just split families apart, and we stopped talking. The Democrats in my family quit talking to me because they thought I was, a super spreader, and my mom wouldn't let me come see her. It's been 6 years now because I didn't get vaccinated. She has not met my daughter-in-law or my grandchildren, these two, because she feels like we'll kill her with our horribly unvaccinated blood and breath. But I said, Mom, you're vaccinated, so why would you be afraid? But it doesn't make sense to them, and they don't make sense to me. You know?
Does your mom acknowledge that the loss of her daughter could have been because of this vaccine?
No. She said it, and my sister did say to me, I think the vaccine got me.
Oh, she said
And when I
that.
tell the rest of the Democrat family, they go, as they did my whole life, anything I said that wasn't in the box. She didn't say that. That's how they, like all Democrats. She never said that. Yes, she did. She said it to me. Oh, you imagined it. She never said that. Her own children, her husband. No, she never said that. Okay. And I just have to bear it. And have to bear begging them not to do it. I told Mama, don't get it, Mama. Promise me. I promise you I won't get it. And then I see it on Facebook, my mom with my niece and a big flag she's holding up, got vaxxed after she promised me. It's just a mind control to do whatever Obama tells them to do. They still love Obama. They're glad that Biden won because they knew Obama was running him. I can't believe it's just too much.
But Roseanne,
they're hoodwinked and bamboozled.
Yeah.
You know.
And that we see so clearly, and they refuse to. I guess I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes, and I can't. But when your younger sister, tells you that at the end, acknowledging, I think the vaccine got me. I mean, was that when she was very ill at the end? When did that take place?
Just before she died. It was horrible. Because I was like, I tried so hard. You know, like a lot of us, but they just, we're a target. Anybody who's against the NWO, which is the Nazi world order, it all comes from that, you know, authoritarianism, fiefdom, fascism, but they call it progressive, so it doesn't look like fascism, but it is fascism, and it's communism too. They're all married now with Islamicism, all three of them. Mm-hmm. And it's just either the end or the beginning. And each one of us has to decide which, you know. We ain't going to write it out.
No. You know, obviously family means so much to you. You have your son here and his wife and those beautiful little girls.
I have 5 kids and 10 grandkids.
That's a lot of babies. And
that's
babies,
a lot of
babies.
phone calls asking me for money every day.
Can I be your kid? Can I call too?
My oldest daughter is your age.
Is she?
Yeah.
50? In her 50s?
She's 53.
I'm 52. So yeah. We're this, at some point we're all just in the same general area. Yeah, okay, I won't call and ask for money. But I will, when family means so much to you, and you've proven that, how do you handle every day when the vast majority of your immediate family doesn't talk to you?
Well, they talk to me, but I mean, my siblings and my mother, they talk to me. But I have to be very careful of what we discuss.
Okay.
You know, although I have to say, in the last few years, because they're very Jewish, you know, I've seen them go, we like that Trump likes Israel, even though they're progressives, and they talk to me like this. I mean, it's this idea, we really like Trump and what he's doing for our people, you know, but...
But they still voted for Kamala Harris.
I don't know.
I wonder.
I didn't ask.
Smart.
I didn't ask. I know my mom didn't vote for Harris.
Really?
I'm like, Mama, did you vote for Trump? She's like, I don't discuss who I vote for, as that's my right as an American. I go, bitch, did you vote for Kamala Harris? She's It's like, I'm not going to say.
You did not say bitch to your mom.
I always call her a bitch. She calls me a bitch too. Well, our family's very street. Like I shouldn't say, but my mom, she's 93.
93.
Sharp as a tack, horrible person. No, I'm kidding. But she's weird. Like, she's had all these boyfriends. She's still beautiful. All her life she was beautiful. And she had this one boyfriend. He was pretty much dead there in the hospital, and she kept putting on life-saving. They were engaged. And she kept doing the life-saving things for him. But I knew he needed to die, you know. So I asked for a conference with the doctor, and I flew home, and I said, Mama, you've got to let him go because he's suffering. Well, he's going to get better. No, Mama, he's 95 years old, and he has terminal cancer. He can't talk or move. He's not going to get better. She goes, well, we'll ask the doctor. So we go in the doctor, and it was a woman doctor, and I said, Doctor, am I right that he has no hope of getting better? She goes, yes, you're absolutely right. He has no hope of getting better. So I said, so my mother, in prolonging the machinery, because she believes he is going to have a miracle to save his life, she's actually prolonging his suffering, isn't she? She goes, yes, yes, he does suffer, and to prolong it is not really a kind thing to do. So I go, see, Mama, keeping him alive is cruel. So my mom turns to me in front of the doctor. She goes, you're like Hitler.
Oh, my gosh.
She goes, you know, because she doesn't like that I just say the truth.
Yeah.
She likes, well, we all have to. She likes that libtard shit. But she goes, you're like Hitler.
You're like, of all people for you to call me Hitler.
I kind of thought it was sort of cute.
Cute.
Now she says it all the time. I'm like, Mom, you've got to go to the home. You have to go in a home now because you didn't take your medicine. We let you stay home on your own. You never took your medicine. You can't walk because of the blood clots in your legs from getting the fucking backs I told you not to get. You can't go up the stairs. You fell there. You fell here. You never let the nurse in the house. You locked the nurse out. You've got to go to a home. You can't stay in that house no more. Because she can't. She can't walk. She sits in her chair, doesn't get up, get her medicine, doesn't eat. I go, Mama, you're going to the old folk home. We got her a beautiful place. But she's like, you don't love me to make me go to an old folk home. I go, Mama, it's not just a old folk home, honey. It's a fucking insane asylum, and that's where you belong. You're driving all of your children insane. They cannot babysit you. They have cancer and heart failure. You're going in the fucking nut house. I'm coming out there next week. You're going in the fucking nut house, and I'm going with you. I'm staying with you till you learn how to take care of yourself, because you never did. She always went and got a man. And then she'd overfeed them. They die of diabetes and heart disease like all her dogs. So I'm like, this is it, Mama. You're going in the nut house. I mean, the rest home. It's a gorgeous place.
So this is happening.
Yeah, next week I got to fly out there and steal her and lock her in that joint. I'm going to stay with her, though, so she can't escape.
She sounds crafty.
She is.
Yeah.
I go, I know what you're doing. You say, you told my brother and sister to take you home so you can get your papers. But once you get home, you're going to lock all the doors and not let them in. I know what you're doing. And she goes like this, well, that's an intriguing idea. But I'm always the hammer.
Yeah.
In my family, I was always the hammer because I just tell the truth and they hate it.
But so you're going to be around her more.
Yeah,
even though you're unvaccinated. Like she's allowing you to come,
she
or
says
she has
I
no
have
choice.
to stay in the hotel and test before I can come and get her, so I will.
Test. You're going to do some COVID tests in your hotel?
Yeah.
I could just see it.
I have to.
What are you talking about? You're going to do it?
The COVID test?
Yes.
Well, you do those tests that they get at the drugstore.
I know. I'm surprised that you're going to do it.
Why is it dangerous to do the COVID test?
No, it's just, does it matter? She's vaccinated, as you said.
Well, probably I'll just say I did it.
Right. I'm like, if I see Roseanne at a CVS or someone else going to CVS or Walgreens to get you a COVID test when you are so anti all that stuff, I'd be shocked.
No, I did COVID test when I, got around my other grandkids and stuff.
Back when it was a thing, right?
I did it.
Okay.
When I was sick. Because I wanted to know if I had COVID, which I had like 5 times.
I was going to say.
It was no big deal. It was just like having a cold.
Yeah. So your brother and sister wouldn't do this with your mom? This is up to you to do?
Well, they've tried, but she refuses, and they can't be mean to her like I can.
But it's mean/love, isn't it? Like, you love your mom.
Me?
And you want to protect her almost from herself.
Well, I'm like, Mom, I'm 72. I'm not your little girl anymore. I'm the mom now. And you're fucking too old to do anything about it. Like when I went to her house, I cleaned her garbage out of her drawers because all her drawers full of garbage, And I have a clean thing I have to do. I hate dirty drawers. So anyways, I filled up 3 hefty bags worth of garbage out of her drawers. And she was freaking out. You can't throw those away. I'm saving those. I go, those receipts, some of those receipts were from the 70s.
Oh my gosh.
You don't need them. And then I took it to the garbage and she was just going whack for like old toothbrushes and shit. She's crazy, but she hoards things.
Are you like your mom or are you like your dad was? Because you had a very close relationship with your dad, right?
Yeah, I'm like both of them. I'm like the worst parts of both of them. They were both really funny. My mother is the funniest woman I've ever met in my life. She is so funny. She's hilarious, and my dad was hilarious. So our home was always full of laughter. And if you could hurt somebody really bad when you made a joke about them, that was extra points. If you could take them down with a joke, it was just great.
Yeah.
And we'd even laugh when it was hurting us because it was so funny.
When did you know you were funny?
I knew I was funny right away. Like age 2 or 3, my grandmother was very proud of me, and she used to, there was a column in the newspaper, Dan Valentine. He was a famous columnist out of Salt Lake, and my grandmother was just like me too. She'd call everybody. She called Dan Valentine directly whenever I said anything cute. And he wrote 2 or 3 pieces in his column on this little girl, Roseanne Barr, because I did say some funny things when I was just 3. And so I knew I was funny, even way back then. She wrote one thing. I finally got a cousin, and he was about 2, and I was about 4, I guess. And they were saying he's a very smart child because he could stand up or something. And I said, what'd he ever say to make you think he's smart? He couldn't talk, of course. And my grandmother thought that was so funny, so she called Dan Valentine and those kind of things. Everybody always laughed at me.
And you took something from that.
Well, I loved to entertain and loved to see people laugh. We had Shabbat dinner at my grandma's house for all the people. I said, I grew up in an apartment house. People sponsored from concentration camps that my grandparents brought to America. And so every Friday night we would have dinner at my grandmother's apartment. And she had a window seat like this here. And so I was enchanted with Shirley Temple, and I'd get up there and do my Shirley Temple song and dance impersonations. And my family lied to me and said I was better and more talented than Shirley Temple, and I believed them for a really long time. And I was devastated when I found out it was a lie. But also, when I was doing Good Ship Lollipop and my tap dancing, occasionally I'd do something funny, and when they laughed, I loved it. I loved them being there and me being here. It's my favorite personal relationship with humans. They're applauding and laughing, and I'm here all alone. Nobody can touch me. And I'm just showing off. I still love it more than anything. It's a good way for me to be safe with people.
What does that mean?
Well, they're not hitting me or, saying mean things to me or making me work my ass off. I was the oldest daughter, so I was like the little slave, the little mother and the little slave. Come home from school, clean the house, make dinner. I'm like 8 and take care of 3 kids. I was always a mom and always a housewife since a child. But that's, in ethnic families, the oldest daughter.
Yep.
That's what you're born for. And I did it. I used to beat up my brothers and sisters there, and they didn't like my babysitting techniques. I'd whip them with the vacuum hose. That was a good one. But they still remember and complain about that.
That's a legit whipping.
Oh, yeah, it was a good one.
It's one thing to get a wooden spoon, like we all experience that, but the vacuum hose, that's brilliant.
Yeah. They thought they were going to get away with saying, we're not doing it. You do it. I go, you're doing it. Because, I had to clean that whole house every day.
Weren't your brothers, you're a petite woman. How
Yeah.
big were your brothers? It sounds like it didn't matter because they were afraid of you and they were smart.
I had one brother, and he's like, 8 years younger than me.
Okay.
So
it took a while.
Yeah. I beat him up even if he was little. And then my little sister was 11 years younger, so she was like my baby. My mom gave her to me when she was born. And I'd do her hair and all that stuff and dress her up and take her out. And then my other sister is 5 years younger, and we were pretty tight. Mm-hmm. We still are.
Mm-hmm. But humor got you through all of it.
Yeah, we were always laughing.
That's a beautiful upbringing.
Yeah. And the meaner the joke, the better, the funnier it was,
I feel like that's rare, especially now, everybody's feelings. I don't think people could handle that as much now. But to me, it's everything. Especially if you can laugh at yourself.
Yeah, it was like a roast in there.
Yeah, constant.
And then, meeting Mormons, and once I started school, meeting Mormons, I was like, these people are nice. I never seen nothing like it. They're not trying to cut each other down or tell mean jokes to each other. They actually help each other. I was shocked.
Oh, I don't know any other religion, I guess, or complete culture that does take care of each other so much. And let's keep having babies and babies. And they live in the same spaces. They hire each other at their jobs and companies. It's actually beautiful.
It is.
And you had that combination of growing up, from Utah.
Yeah.
But a Jew.
Yeah.
And the Mormon culture as well.
Yeah. I did learn a lot about community, and, everybody came for everybody, you know. There wasn't any homeless or anything, everybody came for everybody that was down on their luck. But that was the whole working class then, Nobody turned their back on nobody, no matter how little they had. Something happened.
I didn't realize you were such a young mom at first, Roseanne.
Yeah. What was I, 18?
18.
Yeah.
How did that go over with your family?
Not well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was unmarried, so that was not good. And, they sent me away to an home for unwed mothers in Denver. And I had my baby there and gave her up for adoption. And then, met her again when she was almost 18, which I knew I would. And now she's 53. Wow. So that was a great reunion and great story. My other kids were young, and I had not told them till they found her. The Inquirer found her. And so I told my other kids, "You've got a sister." And they were like, "Huh?" And then we brought her out, and she stayed with us for a long time. And they all became very close, too. So I've had great things like that happen in my life. And all my daughters are still very close. You know, all my kids are close, and they're all good to me, even though they're libtards, the daughters. Oh, well.
We still have to love them despite their faults.
I still love them. I just don't go there with them.
I'm curious at 18 to have to make that kind of a decision.
Yeah.
Was it your decision? It was? You weren't told you're going to this house for unwed mothers and you're going to give her up?
They pretty much told me that. I tried to be on my own, you know, and get an apartment and get on assistance. I went down there for the assistance to the welfare thing, and I just was sitting there, and it was taking forever. And I said, "I'm not going to do this," because I had rented this place. It's $30 a month.
Oh my gosh.
And it was way down in, you know, the railroad tracks there, part of Utah, Salt Lake. And I turned on the bathtub, and nothing but roaches came out. I go, "I'm not doing this, and I'm not bringing a baby here." And so I told my mom, I'm going to do what the neighbor girl did. She went and gave up a baby at the same place. So that's what I did.
Do you remember that moment?
Oh, yeah. I remember all those months there. And I think I went to the Home for Unwed Mothers when I was 2 months pregnant. So I stayed there for a long time, that Salvation Army Home for Unwed Mothers. And then I remember the day when I had her. That was hell on earth. Oh my God, that hurt. And I was screaming too, and I didn't want to lay down. They were strapping me down, and I was trying to run away.
Did they not
It felt
have
better to stand up than to lay on my back.
Yeah. Did they not? I mean, did they have epidurals? Did they not have any? Were they not willing to give you pain meds? What? I mean, it hurts no matter what.
It didn't
FYI.
work on me because I was too fat.
What?
So they're going, "It's not working to numb you because you're too fat, and if we give you any more, your baby's gonna die."
They said that?
Yeah, kind of
Oh
like
my
that.
God.
So I'm like, hell. So then I had her, and her one ear was bent over like my mom's ear is. And I go, "Oh, good, she's marked, and she has red hair. And I'll find her." And I told her that. "Well, I'll see you again when you're 18. Found her a great family to be adopted by. And here it came 2 weeks before her 18th birthday, and the Inquirer called and said, "We found your daughter," which I didn't even know they knew, but I had told my boyfriend at the time, Tom Arnold, and he sold that story to the Inquirer.
Oh, goodness.
But whatever, it all worked out good. And when they said they had found her, I paid a private detective, and he went and got the same information, so I called before the Inquirer did. And then we arranged a meet, and then 2 weeks later we met. And it was amazing. It was
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was shaking. And I went in to have a cup of coffee before I went up to their hotel room there in Westwood. And I walked in to get coffee, and there she was sitting there with her other mom. And we just locked eyes, and then we just got up and ran to each other. And we started just hugging, and the bodyguards and stuff shoved us into the elevator so nobody would get pictures, you know. And we went up to the room, and it was like no time had passed. I loved her mother. We became very dear friends, her mother and father. And I had a new family, and so did she.
Oh my gosh.
And it was just wonderful. And then she married this great Russian guy, and they have this grandson that's just going to college now. But this grandson is something else.
Wow.
He's something else. For one thing, he's a great Jewish athlete, which you don't see that a lot. And he's a great soccer player. For his high school, they called him the Jewish boot, because he can kick
the heck out of
from
it.
here down there. And he's gorgeous, brilliant. All my grandsons and granddaughters are just a
What a blessing.
gift. They're
Yes.
just a great gift to me.
What a blessing.
And they're all funny,
really?
which is crazy.
So it's genetic.
I think so. I go, you've got the bacteria. It is a bacteria, but
It's not
a
DNA,
couple
it's
of them
bacteria.
are doing stand-up, and
No way.
a couple of them more want to.
When you,
It's just wonderful.
those 18 years, knowing that someday you'd find her.
No, I knew it. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I kept my name Roseanne Barr because I knew I'd be famous and she'd find me.
How often did you think about her?
Oh, every day it was always there. I mean, she's always my daughter.
And then you had your kids, your babies, but she was always there. That is the most beautiful thing, because quite often, obviously, there can be animosity or hurt when you as a child have been given up for adoption. And she harbored none of that?
Well, she had great parents. She had another adopted brother. And her parents were just the perfect adopted
And you chose
parents.
them?
No, I didn't have nothing to do with it.
I thought you... Oh, okay.
Well, I chose Jewish and Family Services in Denver, and, they were a couple that wanted to adopt Jewish babies, which there wasn't a lot of Jewish girls giving up their babies. It was just God-given, And later, after I found her and we got the facts, it turns out that her mom was best friends with my mom's brother's wife's sister.
Okay, hold on. Her mom was best friends with...
My mom's brother's wife's
How did
sister.
that happen?
Well, because there aren't that many Jews out there.
Oh my gosh, still.
So I was like, oh my God, they must have known, because it was a very small Jewish community. So then when her sister's friend adopts a baby girl, and they knew that I was pregnant.
Yeah.
But nobody said anything for 18 years.
Oh my gosh.
Which makes me mad, but I'm like, oh well, what could I have done about it anyway? She was raised perfectly, loving home, loving parents. She was raised in Dallas. And she went to school in Austin.
Oh, she did. Wow.
And God took care of all of us.
Yeah.
He continues to do that. I'm just a lucky woman, for sure.
Well, but you've created this.
Well,
And you've made deliberate decisions. I think especially because when you know from a very young age what your talent is, what your superpower is, because you can't teach people to be funny.
No.
And then to have the courage to continue to go on stages, whether it's your fireplace mantle as a little kid or the biggest comedy club and then national TV. I mean, that's a deliberate decision.
Yeah, it was a deliberate decision. But God told me when I was 3, well, I used to talk to God. He was my imaginary playmate. And I wasn't much older than 3. He's like, you're going to have your own show when you grow up, and it'll be called The Roseanne Show.
No, wait, okay.
Yeah, it's real.
How old were you when this happened?
3.
I don't remember anything from when I was 3.
No, I remember every minute of that. I had a lot of trauma in my family, and age 3 was a very traumatic year. And I didn't know if I was going to make it. And I saw, a vision-like thing, or had an experience, but He said, you're going to live. You're going to make it. And one day, you're going to have an answer to every question that's in your mind right now, and I'll always be with you, and we'll find it in books. And this book journey I've been on my whole life, it's crazy. But he said, and you're going to, I was a TV addict too, you're going to have your own show, and it's going to be called The Roseanne Show when you grow up. So I was like, oh, okay. So I always knew I was going to have my own show called The Roseanne Show. And I always waited for the go sign to go do it. And, there I was, 28 years old. And that's when I did it.
Where were you when you were 3 and heard God tell you that?
Hiding in my grandma's bathroom, and I had learned to lock the door.
Why?
And that was just great that I could lock all of those crazy people out. And they thought that I had locked myself in accidentally, but I had locked them out. And I remember having that conscious thought, So they came to the door of their horrible breath coming through the doors going, turn it towards the wall. It was a black button. Turn it towards the wall. She can't get out. We need to call the fire department. And I was like, I'm not turning no button. You're not coming in here. And then I heard a noise and turned around. And there it was in the air. You are going to be okay. You're going to live. You're going to make it out of here. And you're going to find an answer to every question in your mind right now. And I'm going to be with you. And we're going to find it in books. And you're going to have your own show called The Roseanne Show. Like, oh, okay. It was so real. And every single thing that I heard happened. Every single thing. In its own time. Because I'd be like sitting there and I'd get a creepy crawly feeling. Because we used to have bookstores everywhere in Salt Lake. And I'd start thinking about something, and then I go, well, I'm going to go to the bookstore, see if there's anything, which is like now you'd type it in on your computer, But I go to the bookstore, and I just have this creepy, crawly feeling, and I'd walk up and down. I didn't know the Dewey Decimal System or anything at that point, first time I was 8. And I just walked and walked up and down, and then I'd feel a heat, an attraction, a heat. And I'd look, and there was a book, and I'd look at it, and the title seemed to be something that fit in with what I was getting the creepy crawly feeling about. So I'd open the book, I open it to the page, and there's the answer. And that happened to me 10,000 times. The most astonishing one was I had just come back from Israel. This one I've told before because it's so astonishing. This was maybe 9 years ago. And I'm walking down Abbott Kinney, and I always have book stories. My family knows. But I see this book about a block and a half up in front of the pizza place there, and it's on the ground. It's a red book, and it's open, flat out. And I got to get to that book because I don't like books abused, I own 2,000 books on the subject of God.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I found them all over the world. I went looking. But anyway, so I go up there, and I'm walking, and my sister and my boyfriend's with me, and my sister goes, you're going to get hit by a car, because I don't pay attention. But so I go over, I cross the street, I bend over, I pick up the book, and it's open to a page, and the page is all about where I have just been in Israel. The holy place I had just been in. But it was from a Christian point of view. Mm-hmm. It was a Christian book. But it was saying things about the same holy place that we have in Judaism, but from another perspective. And I could, that was the biggest one ever.
Amazing.
The biggest book ever, and I took it home and, of course, devoured it. But my book thing is huge.
I love it.
And I always go on eBay looking for these books that are out of print, and I always find these fantastic books. I love to read. I just read.
One of the things that I love the most since meeting you in person, which was a little over a year ago, and I was so excited to meet you for any number of reasons, as most people are when they see you.
Well, I was excited to meet you, too.
What?
Yeah. Me and my son were fans of yours.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
We thought you were very cool.
And now you know that I'm really not.
No,
I'm
we know you are.
It's okay.
No,
Can you call my kids?
Well, they're never going to believe me.
That's true.
Yeah,
they'll believe you, but they'll never say it to my face.
Me.
But it's okay. I always say, on the way out here, we were on the phone. I was on the phone with the youngest, who's, the one that always has to stick it to me. I always say, you know what? When I'm dead, you're going to really miss me. Just
I
be
say
nice.
That too.
Yeah, does it work? Because should I stop trying?
It doesn't work. Nothing works on them.
I swear. But I'm going to keep pushing and making her uncomfortable. And deep down, I'm like, I know she acknowledges that she really likes me deep down. She just can't say it, and that's okay.
She'll get there. Like I was going to say, even when they go to college and they get led astray by these horrible perverts that are the teachers, you know what? That don't last past 35. It's all gone at 35.
Well, I think they start to really use their brain and question things more without fear of being canceled or whatever else is, legitimate. There are legitimate fears now. I was going to say, though, that when I knew this before, but then since meeting you, like your faith is what is the most inspiring to me, I think. Certainly your strength and all of your accomplishments and the people you stood up for and the courage that you continue to display, even though you might not view it as courage, I do, and many others do. But what I didn't know is that you felt that you heard God. You heard him speaking to you from such a young age. That, I feel like, is rare. And for you to understand who was speaking to you at that time, what a gift. Yeah.
Well, I believed everything the family said. It was an Orthodox Jewish family, and I believed all the stuff they said about God. He watches over us. He knows what we're doing. He judges us on our life when we die and all that stuff. I believed what they said. And then I remember being really bothered by, they said, well, God knows when you're lying or when you're cheating or doing wrong. Then I'd watch them. I believed it. Then I'd watch them cheating and doing wrong and lying and stuff. And I'd go, what's wrong with them? They know he's watching. Obviously they know what I know, but yet, what's wrong with them? So I knew people don't really believe it like I do.
Yeah, no.
They don't really believe it, or they wouldn't be doing that.
Correct. But you chose to listen even at a young age. And I have to tell you, I have this vision I can't get out of my head of you in that bathroom.
It was something.
Hiding, but more strength at 3 years old, keeping them away.
Yeah.
Have you talked about that trauma that they were inducing on you, that your family was?
I've talked about it. Was they were Holocaust survivors, and they were watching the Eichmann trials on TV, and I was the only kid. And whenever I'd come into the TV area there, some of my aunts and uncles would go, get her out of here. We don't want her to see this. But then other ones would go, we do want her to see this. She needs to know what they did to us, which is not a good thing to do. And so they'd call me in and make me watch it. And they'd always tell their stories. They always included me. They'd go like, the worst one, I heard so many horror stories just as a little girl. But they'd always point to me. This is why he pointed to me. But they point to me and they go, little girls just like her. They hung them on meat hooks through the back of the neck. And I was like, is this going to happen to me? This is going to happen to me. And I look at the TV, that's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to us. So I was always horrified, and I didn't want to hear anymore, so I went in the bathroom and locked it out. Mm-hmm. And they were saying, let us in, turn the thing. And I didn't want to turn it. And I was already gone in some way. Part of me was already out of body, or just leaving to survive it. And when I turned around, there was the thing I saw. It was a man. And he pointed to me just like they did. You're going to live. You're going to survive. And I'm always going to be with you. Like a guide, a book guide or something. I've gone through so many thinking what it all meant. Who was it? Why? But I never doubted it, because you can't doubt it. You can't doubt it, because it happened. And it's continued to happen. I always say, God won't leave me alone. He's always bugging me and telling me to do stuff. And, of course, I have to do it. Because, I mean, it's one thing to piss off network presidents, but no way am I going to piss him off. I'm going to do everything he tells me to do. Of course, I vet it and make sure it's not coming from me. Like I read a lot of holy texts and stuff to make sure it ain't coming from me, because I'm not that smart. But
you're a survivor.
I am, and I'm sure of what I've seen, felt, and heard, and experienced. Mm-hmm. It's and also I have been right about the things I see coming down the pike.
Yes.
All the time when I get them, it's always, and then I feel like, no, I'm not like everybody else. I never was.
No.
And, you know, I've tried to be, but it don't work out for me.
Well, thank God it doesn't work out for you.
Yeah.
Like, we're better because of that. Like, we as a country, and I mean that. And when you look back to Roseanne, the show that you were told as a tiny little girl that you were going to have, I mean, you provided certainly all the laughs and entertainment and happiness, and I think an escape for a lot of people. I
just wanted to show the great power of love and how you can love people that are flawed. Because that's what knits everything back together. And I really wanted to do that as a kid, to go, yeah, there's a bunch of, fat, stupid, sometimes stupid, outliers, like American workers are. And they have the ability to love, which a lot of them people up top don't. And that's why we'll win everything, because that is what wins, is the love of justice, the love of fairness, the love of this country, which is, our Constitution is the pinnacle of anything ever written about freedom and human dignity. And it's too bad people don't know it, but they should know it.
But that's why people like you speak up. That's why you have continued to.
It's all about love. And they've taken it wrong to think it's all about something else, and it isn't. We're the country that ends a lot of bad shit and brings in something better. And we're always going to be that, as long as we know that and stick to it. We don't let ourselves be pulled off course by a bunch of stupid shit.
Well, it seems like we've been on the verge. And I also think if people take a deep dive look back at what your show was in the 90s, I mean, you were ahead of your time for that too. And the topics that were discussed in humorous ways, again, now look at where we are with so many of those topics. But did you know then the effect you were having on this society that was beyond making people laugh?
Yeah, because the Roseanne show that I always wanted to do was going to be about that. It was about how much God loves us. That was always in my core, and that because he loves us, we can love each other no matter what. And so I always wanted that to be the underpinnings of the show, and that anything done in love and with love wins. It always does, even if you don't end up with the jackpot of money. But in the show, my 9th season, they did end up with the jackpot of money, because that's everybody's hope and dream that plays the lottery. But then I turned it to where it was like, oh, everything got worse when they got the money.
Yeah. Isn't that usually how it works?
Yeah, that's what happened in my life too. So I wanted to say that.
What do you mean that's what happened in your life?
Well, when I got the big money, it changed everything for the worse, except for being able to buy stuff and go someplace, which was joyous. Be able to take my kids around the world. But as far as personal relationships and personal seeing people's values change around me, till I realized that I was nothing but the cash cow. I wasn't a person. I was a product, and that is tough. That's tough it's tough if you go out of your way to help people who you feel need help, and then they don't appreciate it or see it or value it at all. And know that they just took advantage of me, as they only wanted money.
Yeah.
They didn't want my friendship or my help or my loyalty. They just wanted money. And I'm like, I never wanted that.
Did you cut them out of your life?
I was glad, well, I got the money.
Sure.
I mean, I got to buy everything. I got a big airplane hangar full of bullshit I bought when I had the money. I bought the stupidest shit.
What's the stupidest thing you bought?
16 dinette sets. Just
From?
stupid.
Like fancy.
Yeah, some of them's fancy. I just put them in storage just to have them. I don't know, because we never had a kitchen table or anything when I was a kid. So, a lot of furniture, but most of all clothes, because when I was a little girl, I had to wear this brown dress every day to school, because my mom had my sister. She was in the hospital, and my dad didn't know how to do laundry or nothing. And so I had to wear this brown dress every day for a week. And the teacher on Friday, she goes, "Are you in the brownies?" Because I had to wear this
Brownies, brown dress.
Yeah.
It's cute.
And we always had to go to Goodwill for our clothes, And we was on the welfare cheese, too. But when I got money, I just bought myself so many outfits. I never wore any of them.
Roseanne.
Just wore the sweats but I put them in the storage there for if I'd always say, I'm going to have a dinner party, I'm going to wear this. Well, I never did, and I never wore it. And then I thought, then there came this thing where they said, oh, you can donate clothes to women that are trying to get jobs that haven't, their husband left them and they need to get a job and to look professional. So I was like, hell, I'm going to donate these designer outfits to some of these women. And of course, they were the large size. And it gave me such pleasure to see these women, poor women, going to get a job in a Chanel suit. I thought that was so funny and so cool.
Yep.
That, she's going to apply for whatever, and she's got a Chanel suit on.
Thanks to you.
Yeah, so I thought, well, at least you did something good with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, where the fuck am I going to wear a Chanel suit, really? I don't go anywhere.
But you just, to be able to do it.
Yeah, the great joy is to be able to help. I mean, when somebody's going to lose their house, somebody can't do it, and you're like, you know what, this is your lucky day. Mm-hmm. And I have done that, and also another joyous thing of having money. Oh my God, I paid for so many lawsuits, and I won so many of them, and it was like, yes, I'm paying for these lawsuits. Like I paid for this lawsuit on a couple of Indian reservations here in America. Why shouldn't they be able to grow hemp? That's a nation. That's an Indian nation. And we won a couple of those. Because why can't we bring industry to those places? Right. And I was told Trump, you gotta do something there, And was glad to see he's talking about it. Yeah. We have to bring industry there. Just write off whole groups of people. And that ain't America.
The fact that you've chosen to continue to help in so many ways that most people will ever know about.
Oh, I don't talk about it because, when you get up there to heaven, God's going to say, did you tell anybody about this? Because if you did, it don't count. That's the rules. So I don't tell because it's me and God's secret, and it does make me feel happy.
I was going to say, that must feel good.
Oh, it does. Feels real good. Me and God has a secret. That's a cool feeling. It's all a cool feeling.
Do you ever think back to those early days in that $30 a month apartment when the roaches came out of that faucet?
I do all the time. All the time. Yeah. I think back to it all the time when I live in a regular neighborhood, kind of. I mean, I got gates and such like here, but when I go into town to the grocery store and such and see people hurting, and I know if I wasn't an international sex symbol, I would be there. And I just got so lucky. I just got so lucky because I came up on the welfare cheese,
Why do you think you got lucky?
Because God made me funny. God made me have a funny streak. And he gave me something to work with. And I loved seeing people laugh and feel good. And so I worked it, and I did work hard. And I had to work smart, and I had to work against the tide, swim against the tide, all them times, They didn't want none of it. They didn't appreciate or love or want any of it, obviously.
Well, they still don't.
No.
And the fact that at 72, when you don't have to lift a finger anymore, you are choosing. It's been a long time since you've had to lift a finger. You could have ridden off into the sunset a long time ago.
Yeah.
And you are choosing to fight back and to stand up and to speak up for what's right for millions of people when, frankly, doesn't directly maybe affect you. Why do you continue to do that?
Because God wants me to. He's always wanted me to stay with my roots and speak about them because it's everything. and always wanted to, and I'll keep doing it till God stops me, and He don't want me to stop. You know, when I got fired and all that stuff, I was really bummed for a long time, a few weeks, and I didn't think I was going to make it, you know, but then God came in there and He's like, you just need to be louder and fight harder. You're not going to, this ain't going to take you down, not after what you've been through. You just need to get real loud, real focused, and fight harder. So I did, and that knit me all back together, because there's always that fight for children. That's what really, children like me at the time, which is why I did my show, why I wanted to do a show. Because when I would watch TV as a little girl, I'd be like, huh? These people ain't nothing like I ever seen. I wanted to see me on TV, somebody like me, a family like mine, like the people I grew up with. Those are the real interesting people. You know, they were interesting. They could do things.
Yep.
Damn, they could do so much. And they could make so many people feel good just with their hands, just by reaching out to people and helping them. And I think that's the miracle of life. That's why God put us here, not to amass a bunch of wealth and be a big asshole. That's the real meaning of it, you know? And I loved it. I loved everywhere I went when I was on the air that people would say, you're like my mom, and they still do. That makes me feel so warm.
Yeah.
You know, for some people to think of you as their surrogate mom or your second mom, there is nothing more fantastic than that. Damn, that's meaningful, you know.
When it's all said and done, which, as we say to our kids, I could be dead tomorrow. You're going to miss me. What do you want? Everyone, people like me who have adored you for my lifetime.
Thank you.
And your grandkids.
Yeah.
How do you really want to be remembered?
I used to think about that all the time, and I was friends with Frank Zappa. And when he was dying, he let me interview him for his last interview, you know, and I idolized him because he was such a genius. And I remember I asked him that because I thought this is his chance to say. And he said something that blew me away, and I've never stopped thinking about it. He said, I don't want to be remembered. Well, it mattered to me. I'll be dead. Whatever happens is cool. But what's important to me, he said, is that I lived to see the birth and the death of rock and roll. That's what he said. So it just went in deep there. And so I thought, yeah, it's the doing it that's the reward. It's not that hoping somebody remembers it in an age where I won't even be alive.
True.
So I think is that I say, it was the doing it that was great, man. When they said no and I said yes, and then I was proved right. When they said, you can't do a show about gays, and I said, yes, I can, and it got great ratings. And they said, you can't do a show about teenage girls getting their period. I said, yes, I can, and I did it. When they said, you can't do shows about, like, racial topics, I said, yes, I can, and I did. And it still remembered. And when they said, nobody's going to like a fat family, they did say this to my sister, nobody's going to watch a fat family that, has ugly kids. And yet they did. I heard no every day. I never let it affect me, because all I was hearing is, I got my own show, like God said. That's proof to me that God exists, because everything he said happened. So I'll do what I want. And I did. And that's worth everything.
Yeah.
I dreamed it. I created it. I did it. I succeeded. And I was able to, help a lot of people because of that. So what's better than that?
But you're still doing it. Mm-hmm. And there are millions of people, and I know you know this, but thank you for never giving up, for pushing back and fighting back and speaking up and just being you. Like, it's such an inspiration. So
thank you too. And to all the women and men out there who's doing the very same thing as me, but nobody's listening or see them. I see you. I feel you. You've written to me. You've thanked me. You too. And you don't know what that does. It goes into my soul, and I thank you for it. And then I thank God that I get to hear that from people that I admire.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. You are such a doll.
Thank you. But you have welcomed me into your home, and it means the world. And I promise I'm not going to shut up either. You ruined me too, because now I'm not going to
shut up. You've never shut up. You've never shut up.
No, those days are over. It's over. Being quiet is overrated.
Yeah, it's a heartache to be quiet.
It is. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we have more wine off camera now?
Fuck yeah, we're going to start drinking now.